Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to another Channel 8 sports presentation. Tonight from East Brunswick High School Gymnasium, it's the East Brunswick wrestling team taking on Edison in a Greater Middlesex Conference Red Division match. Hi, I'm Jimmy Allinder, and I'm being joined tonight by former East Brunswick coach Greg DeMarco. Greg, good to see you. What do you think about tonight's match?
Well, it's good. Always good to be here, Jim, especially doing this sort of event with you. But tonight we do have a Red Division match, which is always important, but also a special night here for East Brunswick fans. This is alumni night, where they've invited 32 years of former wrestlers back to the old gym here, where many, many ghosts walk, and they're here for an exciting match.
And I saw you before the festivities this evening. It was hard to get you away so we could do this opening, but you were talking to a couple of your former wrestlers, were you not?
Well, they're more than former wrestlers. They're lifelong friends, and every time we come into the gym, and I know it's the same feeling with you. It's like family, so it's always good to be here.
Okay. Well, let's talk about tonight's match. East Brunswick coming in with a unusual, on the surface, 1-2 record, but that's been against some pretty good competition, has it not?
Well, yes, that's one factor. In fact, I believe they have the toughest schedule of any team in Middlesex County, both their dual meet and tournament schedule. Mm-hmm. And that's quite a credit to the coaching staff, because this is a very young East Brunswick team. It's nailed down by two state caliber wrestlers, as you know, and we'll talk about later. But for the most part, this is a team of sophomores and juniors, and some freshmen thrown in. So they're going to take their lumps early, or watch out later on down the road.
Okay, we're talking about the two matches that the Bears had during the holidays. First one was against a state-caliber High Point team that they lost handily to. And then just this past week, they went up against one of the best teams in Somerset County, Somerville. It's those type of matches, as Greg alluded to, that's really going to give the East Brunswick youth that experience that they need, especially as they move into the Red Division season. But just a quick question about the two wrestlers that we know of, Mark Gensler and Sean Daly. Just give me some initial thoughts on what you think about their possibilities this year.
Okay, both wrestlers are very exciting to watch. They're very talented, and they have a good shot at what we call the ultimate goal, this being a state title. However, when it comes to state titles, nothing's set in cement, and you need a little bit of luck. So we're going to be rooting these guys throughout the year, but we wish them well, and you're going to see some good wrestling from them tonight.
Okay. And as Greg alluded to, also, this is an alumni night. We're going to have a short portion before we get underway with our regular match. We're going to have some introductions of some former wrestlers, and then we're going to get going. So tonight, East Brunswick and Edison in wrestling. We will be back in just a moment. Okay, we are back at East Brunswick High School Gymnasium before the Edison-East Brunswick match. As you see on the camera, they're introducing some former East Brunswick wrestlers. We already had Tom Flanagan. Who was the second one, Greg?
That was Howie Teitelbaum.
Howie Teitelbaum.
And this now is Paul Quirk.
This is Paul Quirk?
Oh no,
okay,
sorry.
They're going back and forth, I see.
Yeah.
In no particular order, but...
Earl Young is the recreation coach, South River.
South River.
In his junior year, was second in the district, posted a 12-1-1 record, and was county's district champ. Congratulations, Bob Marr.
Okay. That was Bob Marr.
Yes.
Introduction. He's a former coach at East Brunswick. Most impressive was his college career record of 75-0. He's a region champ, county champ, three-time district champ, class of 71, Jimmy Young.
Oh, there's Jimmy. Gosh, I haven't seen him in quite a long time.
He looks good. It
Yes,
looks like he could go 6 minutes.
Make the comment that some of these guys look like they're ready to go on the mat right now.
Yeah.
The men, Mr. John Mooney in the class of 71.
Jimmy Young, former coach. Paul Quirk, former coach. You, former coach.
Oh, hey, we're having a good night here.
Bob Anderson.
Bob Anderson.
A district champ in 1974 at 129. Please welcome from the class of 74, Jim Sirocco.
Jim Sirocco.
That goes back 20 years,
From
74.
the class of 1989, an outstanding wrestler who contributed immensely to the program, Brian Quinatra.
That's Brian
This
Quinatra.
1993 grad is placed second in the district. He's currently attending the University of Maryland, Greg Meyer. From the class of 94, 3 outstanding wrestlers who brought many accolades, both team and individual, to East Brunswick. Eugene Lazark at 125.
Gene Lazark, of course. That's for last year.
At 130 pounds is Richard Klein.
Rich Klein.
And a county district and region place winner at 152, J.D. Hampton.
Jamel
Hamden, right.
The two other coaches who are also former wrestlers, Glenn Kazinko, our head coach, is warming up the boys, along with a class of 83 graduate, Mr. Bill Beggage.
Bettis.
Matter of fact, there is that coach. We're also blessed to have former coaches with us doing the commentary for Channel 8.
There he is.
Oh,
You forgot his name, huh?
Mr. Greg DeMarco and Mr. Paul.
Mr. Knoppenberger is doing the play-by-play on his own. I think he's auditioning tonight. Okay, that concludes tonight's ceremony, alumni night, and we're going to take a short break, and we will be back with the first match of the evening in just a moment. We are back at East Brunswick High School Gymnasium for this match between East Brunswick and Edison, varsity GMC Red Division match. And our first up is going to be the 100-pound class for Edison, sophomore Jeff McGorvin versus freshman for East Brunswick, Phil Leota. And 100 pounds, that's new, is it not, Greg?
yes. We've got a realignment this year, Jim, of the weight classes, and now we move this down a bit to 100 pounds, and we have a freshman, Leota here, who's doing quite well. He comes in with a 5-2 record, not bad for a freshman.
We'll take a look at the record of McGorvin, 7-2. So this should be competitive on the surface.
Yeah, let's see now. They both appear to have the same body style here. Edison spinning around with a front headlock and gets 2 points there for a takedown. So East Brunswick's now down 2-zip.
And we mentioned now the 100-pound weight class, they've eliminated
106.
No, there is 106. There's 103 maybe, or 101.
Right. Well, the bottom line on the weight alignment is they added a lighter weight and a heavier weight and took them out of the middle.
Okay.
And many coaches, particularly area coaches, are very upset with that move for the basic reason that it's a bell-shaped curve in terms of weights of high school students, and it's the middle weights where you should have the most weight classes. And for whatever reason, in their infinite wisdom, the National Federation decided to make these changes.
Well, it was my understanding is that states had the option to pick up the new weight class alignment, and New Jersey decided to do it, but this may not be a permanent situation.
Let's hope not. I think they'll probably change. And right now, Phil here is in a very precarious situation. Referee counting off back points, and of course, the ultimate in a wrestling match here is to pin your opponent by getting his back or shoulder blades to the mat for 2 full seconds. And they picked up 2 near-fall points.
First period, and with 30 seconds left, McGorvin has a 4-0 lead. And aiming for more here.
Yeah, I'd say McGorvin, the sophomore, is showing his experience right now over the freshman from East Brunswick.
20 seconds first period. We are just underway with Edison and East Brunswick. It looks, Greg, as though Edison's going to have a couple of holes in their lineup tonight.
Yes, they are going to have a number of forfeits. At this time, we don't know where because both teams are playing strategy as to where they're going to put their wrestlers and try to get the most points. And this can start right at the very flip of the coin. In this case, I believe Edison picked odd, which means they have to put out their opponent on odd bouts. And it doesn't sound like much, but it really can make the difference in a match. It can be the difference between winning and losing.
Oh, you're telling me something that I wasn't aware of, and that is that they alternate as far as committing who they're going to put out. I was always under the impression, or maybe it used to be, that the home team would always have the final say.
Yes, and that used to be called the home team disadvantage, because you had to put your kid out first.
Right.
And that is a big disadvantage. Now, they've changed that so that at the flip of the coin, you get to pick odd or even, depending upon what you want. In fact, it was attributed to a match recently between Brick Memorial and Buena. Am I saying that right?
Blair?
No. B-U-E-N-A.
Oh, Buena.
Okay.
Got it. Okay.
And Brick is losing 30-0. But because they got their choice on picks, they come back and pin the last 6 kids and win 36 to 30. Remarkable comeback. And we're here in our second period. We're down 4-0, but looks like Phil's coming out here. Oh, he almost did. Looking for a reversal. And of course, he could get 2 points for that. If he just breaks away, that'll be an escape, which he's fighting for right now. And I believe they're going to go out of bounds here.
Okay, referee whistles each wrestler out of bounds. McGorvin's still on top, I believe.
Both these wrestlers, I believe, have been actually wrestling a long time. Leota has been a product of the East Brunswick Wrestling Club, their recreation program, and does have a lot of experience. However, varsity experience is another thing, and that's probably where his Edison opponent might have an edge right now. But he's still trying to work. You see him constantly moving. He doesn't want to get caught or tied down and let his Edison opponent possibly turn him and get the fall.
Well, he's trying to get the escape primarily at this point, is he not?
He's trying to get any points he can.
Right.
Okay, now you're going to see he's going to try to initiate the first move, and he's up to his feet, but quickly brought down to the mat. Now this Edison wrestler has got a very particular style here. We call this leg wrestling. He likes to use his legs as almost another arm or two to wear his opponent down. The head coach at Edison, Jerry Nizavachi, used this very effectively when he was a high school wrestler. He was a 2-time outstanding wrestler. Unbelievable.
When you say 2-time, you mean state champion?
Not just the state champion, but he was voted the outstanding wrestler in his junior and senior year.
J.P. Stevens.
Yeah, I don't think it's ever been repeated. But the reason I'm mentioning is that this kid's style here from Edison looks very similar to what we saw with Jerry Nizavachi some 25 years ago.
At some point, we'll get our camera to shift over when Jerry gets into camera view. He, if I remember correctly, he was a 119?
Somewhere around there,
112, 119.
And incidentally, Coach Pazinko now, who also was a former great scholastic wrestler,
obviously,
was also a very big leg wrestling type of style.
Used to call him the pinner. I think in his senior year, he just came out and just pinned every opponent.
Yeah, and a lot of times we'd move him up a weight class to heavyweight. He'd pin those guys as well. Okay, we're in the third period here, Jim, and we've got a long road to hoe.
Well, you're bringing back a really interesting memory with the state championship matchup. The Central Jersey Group 4 final up at Hunterdon Central, where he went up against Jim Lang. If you remember that one?
What a memory you got here.
That was a controversial match, was it not?
The whole match was, the whole meet. You're right.
He went up into the Red Devils barn there, as it were, and somehow emerged.
Those farmers.
Yep.
Okay, Phil's working here. He's got to get this Edison kid to his back and get some back points.
7-0 right now.
7-0, but he looks fresh. He looks like he's in shape, and anything's possible here.
I understand what you're saying about the difference between recreation wrestling and varsity experience. It is a whole different ball game.
And that is really the major goal of the East Brunswick team this year. They're a young team. They got freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. Many of them wrestling varsity for the first time. So their success is really going to be a function of how quickly they can adapt to that next level, or that quantum leap in competition. According to the coaches, though, this is a hard-working group. They've got a good work ethic, and by the end of the year, if they keep improving every day, you're going to see some really good results.
Yeah, there's a few, more than a few. I think, is that a stall warning right there?
Yes, Edison's starting to run E in terms of the gas tank. And we've only got 49 seconds here in the match, though, and Leota's got to try to turn this guy to get some back points. Leota himself now starting to work little legs. Now, you see the referee counting off here, talking about possibly stalling on Edison's part.
Very interesting match in the sense that the Edison wrestler has a 7-0 lead, but he really seems to be holding on in the end.
Well, and East Brunswick just got 1 point now because of stalling.
Okay.
But one of the most important things in wrestling, probably any sport, is endurance. You could have the best technique in the world, you could be the strongest wrestler in the world, but if your gas tank is on empty, you're just not going to go anywhere. You're not going to travel anywhere. We essentially here just ran out of time. I think 1 more minute, we would have done better. As it is, Leota suffers a 7-1 loss here in our first bout.
And that will put up Edison with a 3-0 lead as we move into the 106-pound match, where it is likely that East Brunswick's Eric Bellas, with a 4-3 record, will go up against Fred Dugan. Dugan is a junior and Bellas is a sophomore.
And let me just say this before we leave the 100 bout. This Phil Leota had some nice technique. Even in the third period, when you saw the Edison kid ran out of gas, he was trying to work some pinning combinations. I think you're going to hear a lot from this kid in the future.
Okay, here we go. 106 pounds. Edison's Dugan and East Brunswick's Bellas. And didn't take long for Eric to
take down his opponent. Okay, so now we're off to a 2-point lead here, and Eric is trying to work some pinning combinations right away.
Right away. Yeah, physically, I think you can see that Bellas has an advantage, even though the weight class is the same.
Yep.
Good crowd out tonight for alumni night, despite some rather poor weather outside. We understand that there's an ice storm going on right now.
This is a great night here, and East Brunswick wrestling tradition goes back 32, 34 years. We've got some good fans.
Bellas has Dugan in trouble.
Yep.
And
got
another
2 points for that.
So it's a 4-0 score in the first period.
Okay, working very hard here. Working another pinning combination, but got to be careful now. You don't want to give up any control.
Nice move in that he was able to go down to the body without...
That was nice.
Giving up any points. Still holding on to that leg. And...
Okay, Edison now working...
It's almost a neutral.
A slight advantage. You're doing good here, Jim. This is good. Okay, and the ref gave that.
All right, what is he doing?
Well, he stopped the match. The one wrestler lost his headgear.
Right.
Which is a mandatory piece of equipment. Prevents cauliflower ear. Okay, now shot in nice on that single leg. Got in deep, but has to get control.
Bella's still with an advantage. As a matter of fact, he gets 2 points. Nice little move there.
Look at this, yes.
But Bellas holds on. And now has Dugan in trouble.
Good shape now.
13 seconds left in this period. Don't know whether he's going to have enough time to roll him over. Struggling. And I don't think he's going to do it, but he'll get some more points out of this.
Some more points.
3. Near fall. Okay, 9-1 after 1 period. Let's see now. We're having a short discussion.
Okay, the discussion being what position will the wrestlers take? This is another strategy thing here. If you have your choice, you can take neutral, you can take top, bottom, or defer it. Okay, and Edison now just locked his hands. You know, Jim, we have a lot of rules in wrestling, and most of them are designed to prevent injury to the wrestlers. For the most part, with all that contact, it is a very safe sport, and one of the main things are the rules that we have. So you saw locking of hands, which you're not allowed to do unless it's a pinning combination, and East Brunswick comes up with a quick reversal.
Okay, 12-1.
12-1 lead.
And at 1 point to Edison for an escape. The referee determined that they were in a neutral position. And now looks like Dugan is trying to work Eric. They're pretty much in a neutral position right now.
Yes. However, you have to completely break away before you'll be given or awarded any points. And same thing's true if you're going to get the takedown. You've got to really get total control, which could go either way right here. However, East Brunswick is coming out on top.
Oh, nice move
right to a pinning combination.
Bellis. And there are 40 seconds left in this period, and I'm not sure Dugan's going to have enough strength to get out of this one. He is very precarious position. Bellis putting all his weight on him now.
There we go.
And there it is.
That's
a
knockout
nice
punch.
clinic right there, if you will, on how to work your opponent. And he took advantage of the one opening. I think Dugan was starting to become a little confident and left himself open, and Bellis just put him away. And
we saw a lot of good technique there.
I think that was in approximately 3:40, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't get the exact time on that, but it is a pin. And now East Brunswick, by virtue of the 6 points, goes up 6-3.
Okay, Bellis looked good.
Yes, he did, and that extends his record up to 5-3 now. And now let's see what, there's a discussion going on because it looks like Gensler. Is that Gensler? It's not.
No.
That's Blackborough.
I think we're playing some strategy here.
Okay. So this is Blackborough for East Brunswick, who is 2-5, and obviously not the more experienced wrestler that Senior Gensler is. So East Brunswick commits, and it's a forfeit. So East Brunswick will take 112. We're going to give it to David Blackborough. And so the score now becomes 12-3, 6 points for a forfeit.
And this is Mark Gensler.
And this is Mark Gensler.
He's moving up a weight.
Going to 19, but I know that Pazinko had mentioned that Mark was going to wrestle.
And looks like he's not. Unfortunately,
he gets a forfeit as well.
Gets a forfeit as well. And,
not going to remove it. That's too bad.
I got to tell you, when you get a forfeit as a wrestler, you hate it.
Yeah, he's ready to roll.
Even if you were going against the best state champ around, he forfeits to you, you just don't want it. You want to go out there and wrestle.
So this would be Dan Corio?
I believe so, junior.
Okay, a junior, 3-3 record. This is 126 pounds. We move very quickly here against...
I would guess Mark Zimmerman.
Okay.
That's a guess.
Right. Zimmerman with a 1-5 record, and Corio looking to take an immediate advantage.
Edison now with 2 forfeits back-to-back. Team score is 18-3 now, and
disappointed in that we didn't get to see Mark Gensler wrestle tonight. You had mentioned that it was he was 119, but my understanding is that he'll probably move down to 12 come state tournament time. But he would be wrestling some 19.
I believe so. I think they add 2 pounds in the middle of January, all the weight classes, which would permit some wrestlers to drop a weight class or 2.
By the way, Teddy Wright is not dressed, so he will not be wrestling tonight either.
Okay. So let's see now. We've got these 2 wrestlers, both similar body build, and looks to be a similar style. They like to tie up. Here we have a shot on a double leg, which is quickly converted to a takedown. Nice double.
Just under a minute to go in this first period of this 126-pound bout.
Now, as they go out of bounds now, you'll notice the wrestlers, they'll look to their coach for some instructions. They'll take a look at the clock to see the score and the time. And they're thinking, what's my first move going to be? What do I have to prevent my opponent from doing? And more importantly, what do I have to do to improve my position and score? First thing you want to do is get your opponent broken down flat. And once you've done that, you're going to start looking to put half Nelsons in, or possibly cradles, working in legs. Most people don't realize how technical a sport wrestling is. Back in my day, it was the strongest kid would win, but that's not true. You got to be a real technician now, and many of these kids go all year long, attending summer camps and clinics, and even some private coaching, like in gymnastics clubs, are starting to crop up for wrestling now.
From my observation, Greg, in covering wrestling through the years for the newspapers, that has really been more or less the flag, the green flag, as to whether or not somebody has the opportunity to go far in state tournament, because you can have the casual wrestler who will wrestle in season, but it's the one that puts in the time, the miles, the dedicated parents that see that the individual gets to the best tournaments, goes down to Philadelphia to the to that wrestling club. It escapes my mind right now, but we have an injury timeout right now.
Foxcatcher, is that?
That's the one I'm thinking of. But that's where all the best ones go, by the way.
But there's many of them.
Yes,
there are
a lot.
They're cropping up all over, and
but that's the price that has to be paid if you really want to get into that elite group.
Yes, and I use gymnastics as a perfect example. They have their regular season, but forget about it. They are going all year long.
Yeah.
They go to their own clubs, and they compete all year long. And wrestling now, I would say, is about 2 decades behind what gymnastics has gone through. But they're starting to go that way. And in one sense, it bothers me that it does, and that it seems like the kid whose parents are willing to go that extra mile or have the extra dollar is going to get the edge. And I think that's where recreation departments have to come in. They've got to make sure that every kid can have an opportunity to be as good as his potential.
Do you feel that, well, all right, you've made a good observation about the degree the recreation department commits to wrestling, but there has to be some commitment from interest in the kids themselves. And I guess the question I have for you, Greg, is, you have watched wrestling from literally the early 60s evolve to what it is right now. You've seen cycles and things. Where do you see wrestling in the next decade?
Well,
high school wrestling particularly. Where
first,
are we
Jim,
headed?
You're very kind. I go back before the 60s.
Okay.
However, where we're headed is a highly technical, skilled sport which requires a year-round commitment in order for a kid to do well.
Is it a sport that an athlete is going to have to forego other sports in order to continue in wrestling?
Well, the trend is this. It used to be in my day, when you went to college, you could still play 2 sports, maybe 3. After my day, it became when you went to college, you had a major in the sport. I mean, if you were going to go play football, that was it. You had to work at that all year long. And same with wrestling or swimming or track.
Okay.
Now, unfortunately, the trend is continuing today where they have to almost specialize at the high school or scholastic level in order to be a state caliber wrestler.
Right.
And
obviously scholarships are at stake as well.
Oh, there's a lot of money in terms of scholarships that are at stake, and I think we're losing something here. We're also missing this great bout.
I'm watching it. It's a 2-1 match. Corio with an early lead, but he's
got a cradle slapped on this guy. He's got a minute and 20 to try to turn him.
Okay, there's your 2 points.
Okay, that was reversal. And now he's working hard to get this guy to his back.
Got him in a good position now.
He's got him in a great position.
Look at that hook on that leg.
Yep.
It's going to be hard for the Edison wrestler to get out of this.
Now, it might be hard to pin as well. This, this guy's got that one shoulder up, and that's going to be difficult to get down. But again, Jim, asking a kid to specialize in high school, I think they're missing out on the 2 or 3 sport which used to be so common in our day. But it's a reality. There's no fighting.
Whoops! That shoulder just went down.
Yes, it did, and we're going to look for a fall here.
I was going to ask you about a stalemate possibility here, but he has definite trouble. 30 seconds left in this period, second period.
They won't call a stalemate if a kid's in danger of being pinned, even though they're there for a full period. I think, yes, we got it.
All righty. 3 minutes and 49 seconds. I'm sorry, 39 seconds. 3:39. Corio. Excuse me, I'm using the wrong thing here. Okay. And another 6 points, and it's 24-3. Now, who do we have for East Brunswick?
Okay, both wrestlers getting ready here.
All right, I have to apologize. Is this Russ Liotta? Yeah, it is. Okay,
this is Russ?
Yeah, Russ Liotta. Liotta and Bill Enoch. Or is it, okay. We really don't know who it is for Edison. Could be any number of 3 wrestlers. It could be Melanconico, Mike Melanconico.
No, I don't think that is.
Okay, it could be Enoch, Bill Enoch. In any event, Liotta with a spin move.
Okay, wrestlers here are working hard for the takedown. Okay, Edison gets 2.
Yes, he does.
Quick takedown.
Okay, Russ Liotta for East Brunswick. Do we know who the Edison wrestler is? It is Melanconico.
Okay.
Okay, at 34, that puts us back on target now with the information that we originally had.
And this Edison wrestler is a good one. He was the Greater Middlesex County Conference champ last year.
And off to a 7-0 record. You can see he has good
technique.
Yes, he does.
He's off to a quick lead here, and he's working hard to turn over his East Brunswick opponent.
Melanconico, just a junior.
He is the best wrestler on the Edison team right here.
And has Liotta in trouble already. About ready to turn him over. Plenty of time, 40 seconds. Got him now.
Okay, Liotta, just a freshman. And he's fighting to get out, and he does.
Near fall, 3 points. So it's 5-0 Melanconico.
Let's think about this, Jim. You're a freshman, you're wrestling varsity, and you're going against the county champ. What do you do?
You do what Russ Liotta's trying to do. He's just trying to survive right now.
And you give it everything you got, and he's doing a fine job.
Okay.
Let's see what first moves they do here. Liotta tried to initiate a stand-up, but it was quickly blocked by the county champ here. You know, Jim, I wonder how far that trend is going to go that we've been talking about. will they have to specialize in junior high school eventually?
Well, the reason why I'm asking is I come from Monroe Township, as you know, and the commitment to wrestling over there certainly isn't what it is in the neighboring communities such as Old Bridge, South Brunswick, and East Brunswick. And it's not the fault of the coaching staff or anything along those lines. 5-0 after one period here.
And 1 point, though. We got at the buzzer for an escape. Good job, Russ.
But there doesn't seem to be the interest in wrestling, and I don't know what you do for, I mean, like, for instance, the Mat Rack program over at Old Bridge. The numbers just seem to gravitate to the program, and that's how Kenny Scott and now former Jerry Bandello, when Cedar Ridge was wrestling, are able to get continuity with the programs.
Well, that's the key. You've got to have a program going from recreation elementary school to junior high school to high school. You got to have the college kids coming back. It's an entire program which lets a particular area win year in and year out. And you go out to Phillipsburg or Hunterdon, and you know clearly what we're talking about here. And but it can't be just one person. It can't be one kid who wants to do well. It's got to be a whole community effort if they're going to succeed year in, year out.
All right, Malin Conoco opened up with a quick escape, was able to get a point. Now he just got a 2-point takedown, so it's 8-1.
Okay, but Russ is giving him a battle here. I tell you, this is a good bout. Russ clearly has a tiger by the tail, but he's showing a lot of courage being out there.
It's obvious that the Leota family is very much into wrestling.
Yes.
With Phil and Russell.
Okay, Russ got his 1-point escape. He'd love to get a takedown on a county champ here.
Yeah,
Let's
that
see if
would
he
be
can
nice.
execute it. Nice duck under. Nice, but he got to bring him down to the mat before he can get 2, and he doesn't make it. So we're still in good shape here. You know, I'm frequently asked, you know, who's going to win the state championship? You know, and the deal on that is, and inside of each wrestler, there's a little thermometer, a little gauge, which gives the odds of this kid being a state champ.
Nice move there.
Yes, and every positive thing this kid can do increases his odds. But there's never a certainty. The odds are never 100% that he's going to win. So we can take a Sean Daly and say he's going to win, but there's always that little question mark where you got to be a little lucky to put it all together. Now East Brunswick over the years has had how many state champs? 6?
Yes.
Now it's over a 32-year period in a rich wrestling tradition, and that's how tough it is. Now we have a kid like the 2 Leota brothers here, and you know they keep working hard, work all year long. They increase those odds, that little thermometer they got in there, and who knows? Maybe we're looking at some future state champs right now.
All right, there's about 10 seconds left in the second period. Malin Conoco trying to put the finishing touch on Russ Leota. Don't know, it's close. Trying to keep that shoulder up, and the period is going to end. And Russ holds off, another near fall, so that's 3 points. The score becomes 13-2. And you like the way Glenn Pazinko is talking to his wrestler now, just trying to keep him steady.
He's instructing them now. He's very cool and calm, and I would have liked to have heard his comments to Russ as he walked out on the mat here.
By the way, the state champions for East Brunswick, we should mention them to you through the years. Richie Aiello, 1963, won at 141 pounds. Max Guidaboni, 115 pounds and 65. Lenny Cassidy, 1966, 130. Then you had a drought, so to speak, until 1983 when, surprisingly, Ted Slowinski won at 158 pounds. Darren Schulman, we remember him, he went on to Syracuse, 122 pounds. Nice move by Malin Conoco.
Very good. Very good move.
It's worth 2 points. Schulman winning in 86. And then Scott Kammerer, the heavyweight, probably the biggest surprise of all to me. I thought he was a good, solid heavyweight, but certainly he came out of nowhere to win in 1991, and really felt good for Scott because he was a quality football player. And 19-4, that is a major decision, I believe.
Technical fall.
Technical fall.
Which means they stopped the bout after a 14-point differential in the scores, and Edison comes up with 5 team points for that technical fall.
And makes the score 24-8. And Malin Conoco's record goes to 8-0 as a result of that technical fall.
And congratulations to Leota there. He fought every second he was out there, showed some moments of greatness, and with him only being a freshman, I think he has a nice future to look forward to.
All right, here's another quality wrestler for East Brunswick, Eric Savitsky at, I'm sorry, this is Dave McGowan. What am I talking about?
Okay.
142-pound match versus Al Estock. Now, this is an interesting bout in that McGowan is 1-4 and Estock is 1-5, but we know that McGowan has gone up against some pretty good competition, wrestling in the tournaments, the Lions tournament, and then the High Point and Somerville matches. So let's see how this one washes out. That's Estock.
Okay. Estock is
Right.
a senior, and we have Dave McGowan,
who's
a
the junior.
Let's see, we should have a good bout here. And once again, East Brunswick with a very young squad may take their lumps this year, but you know, down the road, you're going to see some real good wrestling here. Things tend to go in cycles, and I know a couple years ago, East Brunswick was on a down cycle, and then for the next 2 years, they did very, very well.
Whoop, what do we got here?
Okay, we got a takedown for Edison.
Yeah. Seemed to me that McGowan felt he was in a more precarious position and released his hold.
Yeah, this is, okay, just went out of bounds, and we're gonna start in the defensive position. Let's take a look at the first move of each wrestler. Now the bottom man is gonna try to get out, either standing up or sit out, and the top man's gonna try to prevent that. Okay, we have a stand up by McGowan, up to his feet, but he's gotta break away before we get that 1-point escape.
Using his arms.
Okay, he's in pretty good shape here. If he
He
can
just
get
needs
that
to
arm
slip
free.
that arm out, and he's
Yeah.
got his point.
But the referee not giving it until that happens. And there he
It's
does.
a neutral, so it's 1.
Okay.
2-1 now. Estock ahead for Edison. We are in the 142-pound match with East Brunswick holding a 24-8 lead in team points.
Okay, Edison wrestler losing his headgear now and looking to adjust that. I want to back up too here. I mentioned that East Brunswick does have a very tough schedule, and their 2 losses so far, I'll give you a little quiz here, have been 2.
High Point in Somerville.
Okay, and High Point right now is ranked, let's see, yes, ranked 14th in the state, with Somerville 13th in the state. So we had 2 quality opponents there, and in the 2 losses so far that East Brunswick's endured.
Greg, you teach over at Old Bridge High School.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how things are shaking out now with the Cedar Ridge and Madison Central programs combined. What you know of them, anyway.
You know, ever since the school split 25 years ago, everybody has said, gee, what would happen if these 2 schools got together again? And it's really been the dream of every wrestler or every coach that's gone through that program, and now Kenny Scott gets to experience that. He's got 2 tremendous traditions, Madison Central and Cedar Ridge. He's got them clumped together. It's called Old Bridge High School, and it's exciting. And they should do very, very well. We have great expectations going on over at Old Bridge for that.
Okay.
Okay, McGowan here works in
there's 2 points.
Reversal.
And he takes a 3-2 lead now.
Some good wrestling. He's trying to slip in a leg now to do some leg wrestling. However, his Edison opponent is blocking him pretty effectively there with that. So yeah, Old Bridge is really excited about the year.
As well they should.
As well they should. And you know, when you have a graduating class of over 600 kids,
you know you're going to have, just for sheer numbers, a good program. But then combine that with two rich wrestling traditions, and it's almost scary as to what could take place here. But I got to tell you, too, it looks like the top dog in the county is South Plainfield.
That's traditionally a top quality club. Oh, Group 2 school, we should mention. Doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a numbers, as you mentioned, with Old Bridge to be one of the better programs. But I believe is it Dan Buggy who's the coach over there? Or
no, Mike Buggy now is the athletic director.
Okay.
It's Bill Pavelak.
Bill Pavelak. But amazing that the program changes coaches, and yet they still produce quality
They're doing great.
teams.
They're doing great.
All right, still 3-2 now. 38 seconds left to go in the second period, with McGowan holding on to this lead. He would dearly love to get his victory. He has just a 1-4 record, and we mentioned up top that again, it's likely that McGowan, nice takedown. McGowan probably ran into a couple of studs in these early season matches, which accounts for his record, because he looks to be a fairly quality wrestler out there.
He's doing a lot of nice technique. He's constantly moving. Seems to have good body position the whole time. So yeah, I think he's doing a fine job here.
You know, I can't help but notice off to my right here, it's out of camera view, but Mark Gensler, who won by forfeit tonight, is skipping rope, and if anything, probably emotionally coming down from a peak that he was at.
You know, Jim, it's like I said, that thermometer is there. He's increasing his odds of winning next time. Every minute he jumps rope brings him closer to his goal, and I'll tell you his goal. He wants to be a state champ this year.
Right. Interesting observation. That's something
So he's working hard. And, you know, Jim, we're talking about wrestling traditions, and one that goes back many, many years is East Brunswick South River. But because they're in different divisions, they haven't wrestled each other consistently in the last decade or so. However, this year, South River has a great team. I believe they're off to a 4-0 start, and
beat this Edison club just the other night, if I remember correctly.
Yes, they did.
37-24.
East Brunswick has added them to their schedule. So any of the South River or East Brunswick fans watching us now, February 10th at home.
That should be a great match.
East Brunswick here will be the South River versus the Bears, and it promises to be a good one, and invokes really a tradition that goes back a long, long time. So that's February 10th, folks.
What do we got here? Yes, reversal, 2 points, and now, with a minute left in the match, it is the Edison wrestler on top.
And McGowan down by a point, 4-3.
Estock, all right. Looks like Dave's going to have to do something here.
This is good. Bears thrive under pressure. Now watch. He's got 1 minute and 7 seconds. This Dave McGowan knows he's down by a point. So let's see now.
All right, he can tie this match by just managing an escape.
Okay, he works his stand-up, working to break away from his opponent. Doesn't want to go out of bounds, though.
Right.
Now he's got to isolate one of the hands here and cut through. We're still in good shape here, Jim, but
50 seconds.
We got 50 seconds.
Time is coming. There it is.
Got to face him. Got to face him.
Oh. Almost had it.
Okay, we're still there.
There we go.
There we go.
And now we're tied at 4-4 with 35 seconds left to go in the match.
Takedown wins it, Jim. This is great. 30 seconds to go. Tie score.
Who wants it more? Neutral. And they will go again. McGowan goes to his knees, but he's back up. Tries to shoot.
Okay, better get off his knees. You don't want to be down there. Okay.
Referee stops. Calls a stall on the Edison wrestler.
Okay, that's a warning now. No points involved. We got 15 seconds to go, so Edison can't back up.
Quick shoot, yes, has that arm.
We got 10 seconds to go.
Trying to turn it around. 5.
Okay, it's gonna be a tie match here.
And a really spirited match here.
Now, Jim, this is great. Tie match. We go into sudden overtime.
First point wins.
First point wins. Here we go.
Clock set at 2 minutes.
Who
4-4
wants it
tie.
the most?
This really becomes an endurance match now.
This is why endurance is so crucial. You know, you can be a great wrestler, but without endurance, your muscles just don't go. I mean, you're thinking takedowns and all sorts of technique, but if you're out of gas...
Boy, look at this. You talk about it. There it is.
Got it. Okay.
Estoc was able to do it.
Tough loss for Dave McGowan.
6-4 loss. Give the young McGowan credit, though, the junior. He really gave it his best shot.
Exciting bout.
And another 3 points makes it now 24-11. And instead of Eric Savitsky, I understand we're going to have John Kapowitz wrestling for East Brunswick at 151 versus Phil Kadick.
Eric Savitsky is one of the more experienced wrestlers on the East Brunswick squad, but he has too many bouts. There is a limit as to the number of matches that you can have going into the district tournament. So naturally, if you start to get close to that limit, you got to be kept out of some bouts. And Coach Pazenko decided that Eric Savitsky would sit this one out and give John Kapowitz the nod.
Okay, they're ready to roll. Bang heads there.
Okay. Got an equipment break there. Get the headgear back on and let's boogie.
There's a leg wrap. But looks like Kadick is able to, well, let's see who has the advantage here.
Right now it's pretty even, but Edison could have a slight advantage. He's keeping his weight on John, trying to stretch him out.
Just to get you up to date here on the scoring, East Brunswick leading 24-11 in team points. We're in the 151-pound bout now. The Bears started out on the short end of a 3-0 score, and then Eric Bellis pinned his opponent to give East Brunswick 6-3 lead. Mark Gensler and Davin Blackborough, and then followed by Mark Gensler, both earned forfeit wins to put East Brunswick up 18-3. Dan Corio pinned his opponent at 126 pounds for a 24-3 lead. And then Edison's Mike Malanconico scored a technical fall at 134. Russ Liotta lost his match. And then Dave McGowan was edged 6-4 by Al Estoc, and that's where we are right now. And a 2-point takedown for Kapowitz.
With about 38 seconds to go here. Nice takedown.
That was an exciting match, this last one.
Yeah.
Between McGowan and Estoc.
They've all been good in that we've seen a lot of good technique, both from the East Brunswick and the Edison wrestlers. And I got to tell you, Jim, I can see little Pazenkos and little Nizavachis out here in terms of style.
Okay.
It's really incredible.
Interesting. It takes an observer like you to see that.
Well, they look differently, but the style is definitely Pazenko-Nizavachi. And I think down the years it's going to be very interesting rivalry here. This is the first year Nizavachi takes over at Edison.
He was at Rawway, if I remember correctly?
Well, he previously coached at Elizabeth High School for quite a number of years, I believe 15 years at Elizabeth High School, 2 years as an assistant at Westfield. So he's not a new coach. He's new to
Obviously
Edison,
not.
but he's been around a long time. And I might add, he's a certified official. There's a lot of officiating. Okay, here we are, second period. We've got a 2-0 lead. We're in top position, looking to break down our opponent here, but he's up to his feet, and we go out of bounds.
Okay, Kapowitz is holding on to a 2-0 lead over Phil Kadick of Edison at 151 pounds.
Okay, we got a good move by Edison and a nicer counter by East Brunswick.
Here we go.
Edison's doing very well here, getting to their feet initially. That's something East Brunswick wants to counter right away, but East Brunswick puts a cradle on here. This is a nice pinning combination. Let's see if he can get some back points. Edison wrestler looking to work a counter though, or at the very least not get turned over. Let's see what happens here. Got about 1:13 in this period. Okay, we lost the cradle. Edison executes a stand-up and gets out.
So it's a 2-1 score now.
Okay, he shot in right away. That's good technique. As soon as he escaped, he looked for that shot. He got in deep, but wasn't able. Now I'm talking about Edison here, wasn't able to convert it. East Brunswick's in good shape and gets the 2.
Bingo. And now Kapowitz has a 4-1 lead.
Okay, Kapowitz is just a junior, I believe, and this is his first varsity bout of the season. So he's hanging tough in here. Okay, now you saw that momentary locking of hands, and that's all it takes. You're not allowed to do that. Referee stops it and gives 1 point to the Edison wrestler.
When you say you're not allowed to do that, hand locks are illegal?
Yes. If you're the offensive or top wrestler,
right,
you can't lock or touch your hands around your opponent's body unless it's a pinning combination, such as a cradle. We're going to make you a wrestling official yet, Jim.
Okay.
Get you away from all that.
I'm eyeing the crowd over right
basketball
now, quite
stuff.
frankly.
Well, you're missing a good bout here.
No, I see a couple of maroon and gray uniforms over there. Must mean a couple of South River wrestlers are looking at their future opponent.
I think they're taking notes. Yes.
Okay, so after 2 periods, Kapowitz holds on to a 4-2 lead. We have 2 minutes to go. And both wrestlers already spent. But, so the endurance factor comes in now.
I think Edison more so than East Brunswick. And the Bear has always prided itself on being in condition. And one way to do that, Jim, is to run a lot of miles.
That was the question I was going to ask you. For somebody out there who's interested who wants to become interested in this sport, what can he expect when he gets to high school? What is the conditioning that's involved in the sport?
You will be in the best condition of your entire life.
Okay.
Once you've gone through wrestling. And Jim, you know it. I mean, if you've ever jokingly wrestled with somebody, within a matter of a minute, you are completely spent. And the reason is you're working every body group. I mean, your arms, your legs, cardiovascular. And within 1 minute, you're dead tired. Now, these kids got to go 6 minutes with a chance of overtime. You know, we're talking maybe 8-9 minutes that they got to be prepared for. And it is tough. And we just got 2 points reversal.
So it's a 6-2 score. Kapowitz ahead.
And he's coming on strong. He looks fresh. This is his first varsity bout here this year, and he was ready. He's ready to fill in and do the job.
You know, and oftentimes they don't know whether they're going to wrestle until shortly before the bout.
And that's tough.
Escape for the Edison opponent, Gaddick, 6-3.
But you know, this is what a JV wrestler's got to be, or any JV kid. He's got to be ready to step up and fill that role. He can't be thinking he's a JV wrestler. He's got to be thinking, hey, I'm a future varsity wrestler. I'm going to be out there in front of that crowd, you know, with my teammates cheering me on. I don't even like the word JV. Future varsity, I think, is better, because any second you could get that nod and you're out there. You got to be ready.
I want to pick up on that in a second when you your observation about future varsity, because we'll talk about and another 2 points. Boy, I'll tell you what.
6-5.
6-5 is the final.
He did a nice job.
And Kapowitz comes through with the win. And that makes it 27-11.
John was in good condition. I think that was a determining factor here. At third period, he did a very, very nice job.
All right, so we should have now at 160 Larry Benson with a 2-3 record for East Brunswick going against an undefeated Brian Russo. So,
okay, now.
And take a look at Russo. He looks in condition.
And let me tell you, Larry Benson, freshman.
Wow.
2-3 record for East Brunswick.
Well, I've been watching Benson. I'll tell you what, he is a rather, take a look at his demeanor.
Yep.
We're seeing Russo right now, but...
Brian Russo Jr., second in the counties last year, 8-0 record. On paper, looks like a mismatch, but anything can happen.
We'll see. Goes immediately.
Okay, that was an ankle pick, actually a knee pick, and Russo's up.
And he's roughing Benson.
I think he's making a statement.
Trying to, anyway.
Right at the start here.
Greg, let's talk about the comment you made about the sub-varsity, or excuse me, the future champions, because that is one of the categories in a rather prestigious tournament that you stage in the summertime. It's the Old Bridge Wrestling Festival, and I know that's just one of the weight classes, but talk about some of the other things that happens during this tournament, how it's grown through the years.
Okay, we've been doing it for 20 years now. It started as a one-day, one-tournament thing on a couple mats, and 20 years later, it's now run on 9 mats. It takes a week and a half to run. We do 12 different tournaments, of which the Future Champions is one of them, and we run 2 camps. And it is no longer a local thing. It became statewide, it became tri-state, and now it's national. We had a plane load of people came in from Nevada last year. We had a couple of kids from Wyoming. We just got some requests for information from people in Canada and Romania for this year. So it's really just taken off, and we involve a lot of East Brunswick people.
I was going to ask you if this is open to any wrestler really that wants to participate in this.
Correct. But I'm also talking about the running of it.
Okay.
Coach Pazinko, you may even remember the Lewises.
Trevor Lewis.
Trevor Lewis, who, by the way, is an Olympic hopeful.
Is he now?
He's hoping to make it in Atlanta in '96, and we're all rooting for him. But we involve a lot of good people, wrestling people, and it's almost like a family get-together. We really do look forward to it.
And I can speak from experience in covering the goings-on that this tournament, this festival, this summer-long week and a half that's run in July is also a boon to the local economy, where people come in and fill up the hotels, they eat at the local eateries, and really has turned out to be just one of the classic amateur wrestling events, not only in the state of New Jersey, but throughout this country. So
we drew,
hats off to you guys.
We drew about 1,500 wrestlers last year from about, I think it was about 15 states. So,
and through the years, if I remember correctly, it has served as a training ground for the New Jersey Junior Olympic team.
Yes.
And some other statewide state teams.
New York and Maryland, plus Delaware. They frequently will bring their state's best. So it does draw, and hopefully a lot of you listening here will stop in the middle of July.
And by the way, if anybody wants information now, how would they be able to obtain that?
Okay, contact the Old Bridge Recreation Department, 679-2000. Give them a call during any
business day, and we'll get out some information to you.
Okay.
Second period here, Jim.
And Russo holding a 6-2 lead over Larry Benson, and I'll tell you what, Larry's holding his own.
He is. For a freshman, I think he's doing a darn good job here.
Gets a point, 6-3. Russo accentuates that by pushing him off. He's trying a mental game more than anything else here.
Yeah, it's a mental physical game rather than the slick technique, which I'm sure he could use here as well. But you know, we got a double situation here in that it's not just this kid's first year wrestling. He's a freshman.
Right, I understand.
And that's tough, but he's doing a good job. He's trying technique. If you back off, that makes it worse. You know,
right.
Then you really get bugged. But
interesting move there by Russo. Did you see that?
Yep.
That's just senior experience.
Yes, it was initiated by Benson, but quickly countered.
8-3 is now the score. And Brian Russo is really trying to show his wares out there. And sometimes this becomes I don't want to say, almost an affront to the other team. And they can take it out on the other kids, quite frankly.
Yeah, well, you learn a lot about yourself when you wrestle. You
Obviously.
learn a lot, especially when you lose. But many wrestlers have to learn a lot about winning. And you know, going against an opponent who doesn't have the experience, there's things to be learned there.
I understand what you're saying. The score is 10-4 now. Larry Benson has all 4 points via the escape route. And but I'll tell you what, if he would do well, if he could just get out of this match without being
a fall.
pinned, and there's another
that's
one.
Right. That would be a victory for him.
10-5 is the score.
Okay, we've got about 20 seconds left in the second period.
27-11 is the team score. East Brunswick holding a commanding lead. And just 10 seconds left in the second period. Again, a lot of pushing and shoving going on at this point.
This is a situation where Edison expects the pin. I mean,
yeah.
And anything less will be a victory. And that's interesting. A kid can walk out on the mat and lose, and yet his teammates and the fans be thrilled because he didn't get pinned. He didn't give up a full 6 points, and sometimes that's the difference between a team winning or losing.
And Benson holding on. Russo gets the escape, 11-5. Shoots, has a wrap around the leg.
Yeah, single leg.
Right.
We got to work a little whizzer here.
Gets 2 out of that.
Yep.
So it's 13-5. But still in all, Benson certainly not getting embarrassed out there.
No, he's working hard. He might get out of this yet. Let's see.
Stalemate called, and they will go to the middle.
Okay, now he does this start where he deliberately gives up the 1 point escape. He says, here, take the 1 point, because I'm going to take you down in a minute and get 2 back. This is okay if you get the 2 back, but if you get taken down, then it's a bit of a problem. Now you're 3 in the hole.
It's a move that's often done by confident wrestlers who know that they have the advantage over the opponent.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a classic guy who done that was Darren Shulman.
Oh, yeah.
In the finals of the States, he let his opponent go 8 times. Gave him 8 points. Here,
right.
I'm letting you go. Took him down 9 times.
That's another 2, 15-6, and 38 seconds left to go. Now has Benson on his back and was able to finish him off. But again, it really was a good match by Larry Benson.
Yep, took him in the third period. He fought the whole way through, and he's got 1 notch on his belt in terms of experience. He's got a great future here if he sticks with it. And, keeps dedicated.
So a pin in 5:30 by Brian Russo, who remains undefeated and ups his record to 9-0. And it looks like that's Steve German.
Senior.
Yes, I know him as a quality football player. Excuse me, I think German's a junior. Yes, he is. He is a junior. Yes. And going for Edison, I believe, is this is a difficult pronunciation. Lechthelt, I believe it is.
Good.
Who has a 7-2 record, by the way.
Right.
So with that pin by Russo, the score now is 27-17, and now Lechthelt jumps out to a 2-0 lead. Correct pronunciation. If you people followed football, you'll know that I hacked Jermaine's name. It's Gehrman.
Okay, that's good, Jim. All right.
But I guarantee it's not the last time I'm going to destroy his name again. But we have to think of...
as long as you spell it right.
That is very important. So that lead that was up to 24-3 now is becoming tight. And I'll tell you what, if with another pin here, Edison will be right back in this match.
Well, there's
got Sean Daly after this.
There's two things in East Brunswick's favor. One in the name of Sean Daly.
Right.
And the other being Edison will have a forfeited heavyweight.
Okay, you're right about that.
So we're guaranteed at least 12 here. Now, Edison wrestler has got a very good move here. It's called a Granby roll. He's not only got back points, got a takedown or reversal, but he's going to get some back points here. And if East Brunswick's not careful...
Well, that shoulder almost made it. Gehrman was fortunate just to temporarily escape from that.
This is another nice technique. You don't see this too often anymore.
All right, he gives up the position, but earns the near fall. That's 3 points, and jumps out to a 7-1 lead. This is Lechthelt. You know, Nisavashi, this is his first year. Edison at one time was one of the premier programs in the county, and
yes.
I would not at all be surprised to see Jerry just bring this program right back up to the top of the counties.
For many, many years, it was coached by Ken Pagash, who I think after 30 years,
I do remember
at the same time as Jerry Bandola retired 30 years at Cedar Ridge, he gave it up. But that's a long, long time to be coaching. And they did have their heyday back in the 60s and 70s, but the last 5 years or so, it has declined a bit. I believe Jerry was the assistant coach to Pagash for a couple of years, so he's not entirely new to Edison, but you'll see him back up there very, very soon.
All right, we begin the second period with Lechthelt holding a 7-1 lead over Steve Gehrman.
And he works at Granby again. Look at the same position as before.
Gets two.
And what makes this difficult for East Brunswick is that he probably hasn't seen this technique, and therefore it's difficult to know how to counter it.
Gets a 3 for a near fall. It's 12-1. Could be close to a technical fall here pretty soon.
Very soon. He's got a cradle on.
Oh dear. Gehrman tries to break it.
Yep.
But that's worth 3. So it's 15-1, and one more, and it's over.
Okay.
15-2 now.
We got an escape. What we need is a takedown here.
Whoops.
And unfortunately, takedown went the other way.
That's it.
And that should be it.
17-2. Boy, he really has great technique, this Matt Lelt.
Yes.
And a 17-2 victory over Steve Gehrman makes the score 27-22 with 3 matches left. But as you pointed out, there's going to be Sean Daly coming onto the mat, who is maybe East Brunswick's best overall wrestler. The 185-pounder suffered a very close loss to John Van Doren of Somerville, who I'd say they're almost equals. But Sean Daly definite aims
You
on our
can't
state.
say that yet. I believe Van Doren's beaten Sean twice.
Twice, 1-0 and 3-2.
3-2, very close.
Right.
And what Sean has,
They're going to forfeit it. That's too bad.
That's a shame.
Disappointing.
Okay, now.
So the two best wrestlers tonight we don't get to see.
Absolutely, and that's quite a disappointment to everybody viewing here tonight. But that's okay, folks. You come on out for the next one. You'll see these guys in action.
All right, so technically we have one match left.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, though, about Sean, he is really very technically skilled. He's strong, he's in shape, and he's got this nemesis in the form of Van Doren, and he suffered this loss last week, early this week, I guess, 3-2. And he's got to take that loss and use that as the motivator, for the rest of the year. These early season losses don't mean anything as long as you learn from them.
Right.
In fact, it could be the best thing that's happened to him.
Well, I think the system that's set up is that, barring some, well, you never know, but it is possible that Sean Daly and John Van Doren could meet in the finals of the Region 5.
Yep.
And in which case both would move on in state competition. So
and meet again in the finals of the states.
But there's an awful lot of good wrestlers at 85. All right, what we have here is East Brunswick's Dave Hagan at 215, another new weight class we should mention.
Yep.
And that should be Chris Gavigan, who has a 6-2 record. Hagan 4-2. On the surface, should be a rather even match.
Okay, well, let's see here.
Looks to me as though Hagan might be a little bit bigger than Gavigan.
Looked pretty close to me. We did get a warning here of stalling.
My only thought is that, Greg, is it possible that that Edison elected to forfeit 85 and move Hellwig up to 215?
Okay. Let's see, yep. And,
that's what they did. This is Rob Hellwig.
Junior, 4-1 record.
And you can't blame this Avoshi for doing that.
I can.
Okay. You wanted to see Sean Daly wrestle.
I want to see Sean Daly, but as a coach, I would put a kid out no matter how much he was mismatched.
All right, Hellwig is an 85-pounder here.
There's always the possibility that the underdog, the super underdog, could pull it off.
Right.
I mean, it's happened before, and it just rubs my philosophy totally. You want your kids to wrestle the best. You don't want to shy from it. You want to go out and, if you're going to be the best, you got to wrestle the best.
All right.
And giving forfeits and shying away from it is, it defeats that.
I understand what you're saying. Meanwhile, in this 215-pound match, Hagan holds on to a 2-1 lead. Hellwig was awarded a point for an escape.
You want to instill in your wrestlers this thing where they thrive on competition. The better, the better. Okay.
Yep.
And if you can do that, come districts, regions, and states, your kids are fresh. They've been looking forward to this the whole year. They're not thinking, oh man, I can't wait for the season to be over. They're saying, hey, now I get to go against the best. And I've been trained all year for it. I'm ready. Look out, world, here I come, sort of thing. And that doesn't get developed if you forfeit. If you say, well, son, you're not ready to go against this guy. So,
of course, just to play the devil's advocate for just a moment, sometimes when you're at that young, delicate age, you got a smile on your face.
No,
when you're pounded like that, it can leave an impression about it.
Okay, former coach here. Oh, looks like we got a pin coming up. Okay, and we got 6-1 here. I'm reminded of one of my former wrestlers, Joe Doherty.
Right.
Lost the match 22-0. This, as a result of him, they instituted the technical fall. He was a freshman, got embarrassed. Okay, so the paper said.
Right.
He didn't get embarrassed. He got ticked off. He worked hard, 2 years later as a junior, he wins the states. Okay, and that's, I think we can still see that kind of story.
Okay,
today.
that's a proven philosophy. Meanwhile, it's 6-1 Hagen. You can see Dave Hagen's weight. He's got about 20 pounds at least on Hellwig.
And as an upper weight, you got to learn to use your weight. And I think he's doing a great job here. That he's always keeping his body on top of his opponent, not getting out to the side, making his opponent carry that weight, which ultimately will wear him down. And that's very hard to train an upper weight to do, but he's doing it. He's doing a nice job of using his weight here.
25 seconds left to go in the second period. Meanwhile, East Brunswick holding a 33-22 lead in this match.
Which should be the last one.
Well, no, I think we're going to have a heavyweight, are we not?
Well, that's true.
Pete Borden and Chris Gavigan.
Well, we'll see here. Let's hope so. Okay, we got an escape there, 6-2.
End of period.
And Edison trying to make up their mind as to what position they'll take. And that involves a lot of strategy. Do I pick top, bottom, neutral? A lot of things go on here. And Jim, you thought this was just a bruiser sport. No, I'm telling you, it's more like chess.
Well, so far, East Brunswick holding the check.
Okay, and
Hagen trying to bring Hellwig down, and I think he does.
yeah,
Referee warns Nisavashia for
too much coaching, I believe that was.
Yep.
Okay, now this referee is indicating that one of these guys isn't working too hard. I believe that's the Edison wrestler.
Surprising that I thought that Hagen might have secured some points.
Okay, ooh, come on now, get him to his back. And we couldn't quite take advantage of that. East Brunswick here looking in good shape though. Got to work half Nelsons. That's what he's trying to do. Also, you got to get out to the side. It's considered stalling if you're parallel to your opponent. And that's what the referee is explaining right now. He's saying, son, I want you to get out to the side here and make more of an effort. Okay, now Coach Pazinko indicated that we want you to let this guy go because you've taken him down a few times before. Let's do it again.
7-3.
Gave him a point because we're saying, I'm going to take you down.
Boy, remember now, Hagen is 215 pounds or thereabouts. Something I want to say about the captain of the East Brunswick football team, one of the tremendous leaders on this team from this past season that finished with, I believe it was a 8-2 record.
Okay.
Referee discussing something with the clock operator.
Some technical aspects here, and
I know we did lose some time. It shows 47 seconds on the clock, and I know that much time has not elapsed.
okay.
Well, maybe there is. Well, I see what they're going to do. They're just going to hold the clock for about 30 seconds.
Maybe. Okay. A little
It's presently at
confusion.
47.
Okay, we have a little confusion here, but the referee seems to have things under control. 6-4 bout here, 215 pounds. Now both wrestlers actually got a little break here in terms of a rest. This is good if you're the one in the least conditioning.
You know, it's a 6-4 score now.
Yep.
According to the clock, there's 30-something seconds, 34 seconds left. And what do we have?
I'm not quite sure what that was.
Hagen
Okay,
with a
in
good
on a
leg lock.
single.
Got to bring him down. Whoops.
You know, he's in trouble here. He better keep turning. Now he's in better shape. He's got to kind of stretch his opponent out, get him to his back.
However,
He's got 15 seconds.
would the Edison wrestler get those 2 points there?
No, not yet.
Okay, because there's only 10 seconds left in the match.
Okay, and if East Brunswick can get that arm through, he's going to get 2 points.
Hell,
And 2
trying
seconds.
to turn him, and no, it's not going to happen. And Hagen holds on for a 6-4 win. That was close.
That was a thriller in the end. Okay.
Which makes the score 36-32 for East Brunswick.
And yes, we do have a heavyweight bout here taking place.
It will be East Brunswick's Pete Borden, who has just one match so far this season.
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore, right? Going up against 6-2 Chris Gavigan,
Looks good.
who was originally slated for 215.
And he's moving up. This is something wrestlers can do quite frequently, move up a weight class or two. Some wrestlers get upset when they do that, but for the most part, they should get used to it. Be flexible. Okay, now, you generally see a different style of wrestling when you get to the heavyweights. You won't see as many double legs or single legs. There's a fear of getting below your opponent because, you know, your opponent's a big guy. So that pretty much dictates a different style.
Okay.
You'll see a lot of... how well versed are you, Jim, in terms of wrestling technology, terminology, rather?
You're putting me on the spot.
How about a head and arm?
Wouldn't know.
Wouldn't know. Okay. It's a head and arm.
That's exactly what it is.
All right, let's see here. 1:20 to go. Let's see. A lot of pushing here. Trying to set each other up.
No score.
You know, it's. I think with heavyweights, it's a lot like landing a plane, or flying a plane. There's
How did we get to planes?
Of sheer inactivity.
Okay.
And then when you got to land it, it's a flurry of terror and activity. Okay. And there's that flurry I was telling you about.
First bit of action right there.
Okay.
And a referee determined that Gavigan was out of bounds before he gained control, so no points. And they're both on their feet again.
Okay.
Gavigan looking more like a boxer.
Yeah, we see a lot of pushing and pulling here. I got to tell you though, your great heavyweights, they'll wrestle like a lightweight. I mean, they'll shoot double legs and they'll do cradles, but they're very rare. Although you mentioned one from Middletown South in upper weight.
You talk about Glenn Prislav,
Yeah.
who's now at Penn State. He was a 60-pounder, 160 pounds.
That's right.
It's technically one of the best wrestlers ever to come out of New Jersey, in my opinion. You'll be hearing about Glenn. He's at Penn State is already up among the top 1 or 2 wrestlers in his weight class. I'm not sure what he's wrestling at right now, but you may even see him as an Olympic hopeful.
Yep. Okay, end of this first period here, and 0-0. Right now, Edison gets his choice, and he's trying to figure out what the coach wants him to do, and he defers, gives the choice to East Brunswick, who picks down. Now that indicates a degree of confidence that the East Brunswick wrestler has, that, hey, I can get out of this guy.
Do you like to compare scores against opponents? Are they good indicators as to how another team may fare against another? The reason why I'm saying is because the final score of the South River match the other night for Edison was a 37-24 loss. It is now 36-22 for East Brunswick. Kind of close when you think about it.
In answer to your question, absolutely not.
Okay.
Okay, two things. First of all, East Brunswick South River meet is going to be a lot different than East Brunswick Edison meet. Okay, it's an intense rivalry. Goes back to the dawn of man, and so it's a different atmosphere. And you'll see. I mean, and that's one thing. Now the other thing is, as a coach, I could never be bothered about that. Worrying about, well, this guy won by a point here, and yet he lost by 2.
Excuse me, Gavigan is trying to push over.
Yep. However,
Gordon, does he have him?
no, he doesn't.
Well,
Pete's,
do we have?
No, we're in good shape here.
Okay.
We're not about to be turned at all. However, we've got to make an attempt here to get to our base, which Pete just did.
Now, Gavigan came in as a 215-pounder. Borden is, I would say, considerably more than that. So he's trying to use his weight to the advantage.
Okay, now here we got a little bit of a problem, and okay, but we managed to get out of that.
50 seconds left to go in period 2. No score in this heavyweight bout. Last one of the evening. Oh, okay. A little bit of a problem now.
Again, we got Borden here, only a sophomore, 0-1 record, and Gavigan a senior. So right now Pete's paying his dues. He sticks with it though, and he'll be top dog in a year or so. One thing you got to avoid doing is looking out for a cradle.
As you mentioned that.
And it's just what we got slapped on here.
And that's going to be worth points.
But we got a whistle. A buzzer saved us.
2 points for yes, that's Chris Gavigan. Gives him a 2-0 score. And the way this match is going, this particular bout, those are valuable points.
Okay.
First order of business is Borden's going to have to get out of this.
That's right, and he wants to do it right at the whistle. You want to, and I tried a wrist roll there, which is good if it works, but if it doesn't, you end up on your side or on your back.
Which is where he's at.
And that's a bad place to be. Quite a few times wrestlers will do a stand-up because if that doesn't work, all right, you're back on your knees again. You know we're close to giving up back points. Okay, now we've got this cradle starting to be applied, which is not good for East Brunswick fans here.
There is a minute 30 left to go in the bout.
Okay, and we got some problems here.
He's starting to turn him. And he's on his back now. It's probably worth 2. It is. 4-0 now for Gavigan.
Now East Brunswick, of course, has clinched the meet here. There's no danger of losing that. But, you know, this is preparation for that time when it comes down to the heavyweight bout. Which it will. You got to be ready for that.
Just to quickly give you a look at the schedule for the East Brunswick team now. On January 10th, they will have another home match here with Piscataway. Then they're going to be on the road to J.P. Stevens on 13th and at Randolph, an intersectional match, on the 14th. And then January 18th back here for that big match against South Plainfield.
Tough team.
And then finally, should note, on January 21st, the Bears will travel to Old Bridge.
Tough meet.
If you're interested in looking ahead also, the GMC tournament this year is going to be held at Piscataway February 3rd and 4th, and that's always a lot of fun, that county meet.
That's a great, goes back decades and decades, and it's very well run, classic tournament. Great wrestling.
25 seconds left to go in the match here. This bout, 4-0. Gavigan holding a lead over Pete Borden.
Okay, we've got 15 seconds to go. Edison working hard for this fall. Turns East Brunswick now.
Got it.
That's it.
And that's going to make the score 36-28. That's going to be your final score. And you know, considering the 3 forfeits,
Edison did pretty well.
They sure did. They did excellent. And East Brunswick, of course, wins the match.
without seeing their two top guns.
Right, you see the team shake hands, and very quickly I'll see if we can go through this. East Brunswick fell behind 3-0 and then jumped out to an 24-3 lead with 2 forfeits and 2 wins. And then you had the score was narrowed to 24-8, then 24-11. 2 wins for East Brunswick. East Brunswick won the 151-pound match to make it 27-11. Then the match became rather close as Edison won 27-22. Sean Daly got a forfeit to bring it 33-22, and then Edison won the last 2 matches, this last one via the pin route, to make the final score 36-28. And now East Brunswick has a 2-1 record going into the next match, which will be at here, Piscataway. Greg, before we leave, some thoughts on this match and just the East Brunswick team in particular?
Jim, I was impressed. We saw a lot of good technique from a lot of young kids from East Brunswick, and if they continue to improve, you won't have to wait a year or two to see them make the mark. It's going to happen towards the end of this year. However, their schedule is very, very demanding. That means they're going to have to work really hard. Keep the endurance up, make it better, get that technique down, eliminate your mistakes. Nice wrestling tonight, both schools.
Okay,
great
and
match.
Thank you very much for being with us, and we invite you to come out and see this East Brunswick team. They have some good matches coming up, and the final score tonight, 36-28. So that's going to wrap it up. So for Greg DeMarco, this is Jimmy Allinder saying, have a good evening.